Welcome to Working with Body Filler Part 2. This is a continuation of Part 1. Let's get started. Right here I noticed that I didn't go deep enough in the hole. So I came back over and I took this hammer that has a little pick on it and I set it in the hole and I tap it in. I just make that dent a little deeper. That way I know it's going to have something to grab a hold of. Like I said, if this is too thin and you don't have something for this to grab, you'll be able to take it and push it in and it's just going to pop right through. So if you have a little bit of a dent down in here, the Bondo glass will have something to grab a hold of. You see this little spot right here where the weld comes together? There's a gap right there. You want to make sure that you put Bondo glass, clean that out real good and get Bondo glass there, because I've seen where people put Bondo on it and just swipe it over and you'll get a little crack that'll form there later. So you want to get some type of fiberglass or kitty hair or Bondo glass in that little crack. So I'm going to clean this out real good down here, and then we're going to make sure when I do my next pass of Bondo glass, I'm going to swipe that in there and make sure that's covered well. Here's something that I really want you to notice. I wanted to just follow the body line and fill this crack. So I took my sander and I feathered straight down following this flat, and I just kept going back and forth until I got the exact spot where I needed it to fill. I make sure to take denatured alcohol again and clean the whole area and make sure it's really clean. We're going to come back over with fiberglass, fill that in, and then fill this one more time. So I'm going to mix this real quick and put some fiberglass in there. And of course I should have worn my gloves. Let me just hit this small piece and I'll put my gloves on. Okay. Only because I don't like all that Bondo and fiberglass sticking to my fingers. It's hard to clean off. I'll take it now that it's creamy. You can go high on this, it doesn't matter, because you're going to come back over and sand it down. I just want to make sure I fill that whole area real well. This is my second pass, and I'm not as concerned with it drying up too fast. That's why I mixed a little more hardener in it, because I know I'm only doing this little section. So this is ready. I'll come back and sand it and we'll be ready for our top coat. Here's a little helpful hint. Before you put this away, make sure you start peeling this off while it's a little bit tacky. You can wait till it's completely dry and break it, but sometimes it sticks on there too well. It'll peel off of there because this is slick, but sometimes you'll have a little piece, if you use this over and over, that's a little rough and it sticks to it. So I'll clean it off and clean my board off before it all dries too hard. And then you take acetone and you put a little acetone on a rag and it'll take this right off and clean it up. This is Bondo Gold. It's a little creamier than your regular Bondo, but you can use either one for this. Here's my Bondo Gold. I followed the same procedures in mixing it up as you do the Bondo glass. I'll just swipe it on and you see how creamy it is? It goes on real easy. I did as much as I could with the power sander. After that, we have to take and smooth these little spots out by hand. And what I'm going to do is just knock this down a little bit. I'm going to feather it. I'm going to take a little piece of sandpaper, barely hold it in my fingers, and just swipe back and forth in there, just to get these edges smooth from here to here and try to feather this a little bit so I can come back over with glazing compound and fill these little crevices. Then we'll be able to really smooth it out. Well, I sanded this down and I got it ready to go ahead and put the finished putty on here, the glazing compound. But I want to point something out. You see this right here where it's real shiny? I have a little bit of Bondo here, and it's real shiny steel here, and then I have this spot here. What that means is the sandpaper is rubbing on this. So this is a high spot. You see right here, it kind of transitions into it. It's smooth. But right here, I have a high spot from here to here, and I can feel that little bitty ridge. So I'm going to be real careful. This is where it takes a little bit of practice. All right, we finished 1 and 2. Now it's time to move on to using body filler part 3.